All of these guys here, we're just simply asking you to do normal operations on the numbers. The difference is that, and you treat I just like it is an x. You just pretend it's a variable and just go for it. The only difference is if you have an I squared, you do need to deal with that because the I squared is equal to a negative 1. So if we don't get an I squared, just leave it. If we do get an I squared, we need to deal with it. So this is saying that this number plus this number. I do not need any of those parentheses. This really needs this.
Elisa Rubalcaba, please report to the guidance office. Elisa Rubalcaba to the guidance office.
So I have 2 plus 2 is 4, and I minus I is nothing. So I have that. This doesn't mean multiply just because you have parentheses here. This means a plus because it says plus right there. Now this one, do you see the difference between these? This one here. So parentheses don't mean multiplied. Parentheses means grouped. And the reason that we use these is anytime you're talking about a complex number, you're saying I want this complex number plus this complex number. That's why we use the parentheses. So for this one here, it is distributive property. So I need to do my multiplication. If you would prefer to do it as the box, 4 plus 3i and 5 plus I, that's fine. You get 20, 15i, 4i, and 3i squared. Ding, ding, ding. That's something you need to be concerned with. So I have 20. This gives me plus 19i, and this gives me 3 times a negative 1 is negative 3. Because I squared is equal to negative 3. If you were not I squared is equal to negative 1. If you were not remembering that, go back and watch the original videos for this section so you can see what's going on. So we have all that stuff, so that's our 19i, and then 20 minus 3 is 17. We have 17 plus 19i. Alright, let's look at this one. I like this one. We are purposely putting some of these on here to see what happens if you keep all the same numbers but one's a positive and one's a negative. They're very purposeful that we put a lot of these things on here. And we see that we end up getting that's a 4. That's a negative 2i. That's a positive 2i. That's something important to notice. And that's a negative I squared. So those go, and I end up getting an I squared and a negative. I squared is negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So I have 4 plus 1 is 5.